I'm very visual, which makes the sex scenes a little, yeah. Yeah, it's like, can you just finish already? I really have to put that in. Oh,
Hi, everyone. It's Samantha Tennant, and welcome to another Fresh Fiction Book Club. Tonight, our guest author is Donna Michaels, New York Times, USA Today, Amazon, best-selling, award-winning of multiple series of multiple books, and just filled with cowboys, military heroes, with the heroines who are an equal match. Donna, it is so good to see you today.
it's very good to see you too. I'm not upside down.
It's the joys of the technology that we can do these things, but sometimes there's various hiccups. For what
Yes.
our audience don't know, we had some slight hiccups as we were getting started, but that's all behind the scenes. It's all
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully.
Donna, let's start at the beginning. How did you first get started writing? Because I know your mom instilled a love of reading for you, but how
Yes.
did that then translate?
I think as I was reading all the time, I'd have the books with me at school. I'd be reading when I shouldn't have been reading, all of that stuff. As the book started to get more and more away from the heroine being strong and she started to become less strong, I'll just be nice. I just wanted to write a stronger heroine. And that's what got me started. And I just haven't stopped. And I'm very glad it wasn't long after that. I think the authors jumped on that bandwagon, and I haven't seen any weak ones in a long time.
And I think that's the appeal for me for so many different types of genres is that it usually is starring a very strong heroine
Yes.
in whatever the situation is.
Yes. She could be vulnerable, but boy, they were no. I didn't want to read anymore. You know what I mean? It was like I really wasn't enjoying reading.
And that makes a big difference, right? You get into the writing of things that you want to read and what's appealing to you so
Yes.
that you can make up those stories.
Yeah. And I did.
Is that also what was the appeal for you in focusing on military heroes?
My husband's in the military. Yeah, yeah. He was away at basic training when we met in high school, and he was a year ahead of me. And in typing class, when he was at basic training, after he graduated, our typing teacher had us all type letters to him. And I was the only one he responded back to, other than a general thank you through the teacher. And we just started dating after that. So military's always been with me since then.
Okay, and I have to admit, the typing class dates you because it
Yeah,
dates
it
me
does it
too.
not?
I don't think they do that anymore. I had to take
Uh,
typing in school. I was on the
yeah, I
typing
graduated
team.
in 83.
Yes. I mentioned it to somebody a while back and they're like, wait, what do
What?
you mean? The
Oh
typing.
yeah, and the brother typewriters and yeah, the electric ones, but I had a manual one. I might still have that my mom had. She typed like 70 some words a minute on those manual ones. I'm like,
Mm.
holy smokes, mom. I was barely doing that on the electric and there was some errors.
The joys again of the technology, because I
Yeah.
think when I first learned it was with the computer though.
Yeah.
So I learned already with the backspace and the delete. And I remember
Oh,
my typing teacher would get mad at me because they're like, you can't do that on a typewriter.
that's okay. I'm not using the typewriter.
Like, it'll be fine. It's
That's
okay.
fine. I got this. I am very grateful for that backspace button, let me tell you.
Yeah. Could you imagine typing out your novels?
No, I did some, like I did early drafts and stuff of my first one on that. And man,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave that part in the
yeah,
past.
that's my,
What was it like when you were writing with your husband in the military? Were you stationed here stateside? Were you overseas? And how did you balance that with him gone
it wasn't as bad
and
as you
the
think because
kids?
he is Army National Guard,
Okay.
but he was full time after a few years. But in the beginning, he was part time, which meant he drilled in 1 weekend a month and 2 weekends or 2 weeks a year. They did annual training. And so it really wasn't that bad. But then once he did go, it was after I had my first child. So it was tricky. It was tricky, but I would write when I could. And then I got pregnant with twins and my writing got pushed back for until all of my kids were in school full time, like first grade. So I had another one after that. So after all four of my kids were in school, I was able to sit down and get some writing to
Did
give
you
it my
find it
all.
challenging to get back into it?
No,
Or
I
were you
couldn't
able to pick it right
wait.
back up?
I could not wait. I had all of these, I still have the voices in my head, but yeah, they're like, let me out.
Is that how the stories come to you? Is that
Yes,
you first hear their voices and the
yes,
characters?
yes. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes I have to, okay, this might be, I have to visualize a brick wall and brick them back there so that they will shut up and I could work on this one at this time. But hey, there's some strong guys back there and they're like, wait a minute, you're done with him. It's my turn.
I love that. I love all those different kind of tricks of like how can you separate things. And so with that, are they just talking or do you see them also? Are the stories running like a movie in your
Oh,
head?
absolutely. I'm very visual, which makes the sex scenes a little, yeah. Yeah, it's like, can you just finish already? I really have to put that in. Uh, yeah.
With the stories then, so if they're running in as a movie, are you also working on the plot ahead of time? Do you have an idea where the stories go? Because you have
Sometimes.
suspense elements throughout your books and these different mysteries.
Yeah, sometimes I have an idea. Sometimes I have a better idea. And then other times I'm winging it. And it's, will you just tell me where we're going with this already or show me? Yeah.
And do they sometimes surprise you
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah, I
going?
like that. Yeah. I was like, oh, now I know why you were waiting. I like that. And then I make sure my editor, I wait to see if I missed anything. Are there any holes? Because when they tell me that, sometimes I have to go back into a couple of chapters and make sure that it's not just a drop. There's got to be an Easter egg or something. So it doesn't look like, hey, did she just put that in there? And it's because he just told me. No, I have to go back sometimes and fit something in there so it's not such a drop.
And is that also a challenge, or does it make it a little bit easier because you do have multiple series and with multiple books? The Harlan County books,
Yeah.
gosh, BENNETT, I think, is what, number 15, and that's a spinoff of the original series.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
how do you keep all of that
Yeah.
straight?
I don't know, but I do. But I don't have a Bible, and I wish I did sometimes because then I have to think, oh, how old is that one's child? What's that child's name? Yeah, it's if I just had the time to go back and do a Bible, that'd be great. But
And how do you keep up with the inspiration for each of the new stories then?
I don't know. It just happens. I guess they bring it with them. They bring it with them when they show up. It's either him or her. And when I'm writing like BENNETT, Matthew, he was he was not supposed to. He would anyway. He showed me some of his book already, so he's up for pre-order. He's up for pre-order.
That's when you start doing the build the brick wall again, huh? It's like,
Yes,
wait,
it's
not your
Matthew. Wait
turn
your
yet.
turn. You can
Wait,
tell
wait.
me what you want to say in this book. I like your banter, but yeah, let's hang on there.
And that was one of the things I think, and of course, BENNETT just released this
Yes.
week,
Yeah, yesterday.
April 29th, so it's brand new.
Yeah.
And reading, because I admit I have not read it yet because it just came.
Well, just released. Yeah.
So it's like, okay. But reading the synopsis, it's one of my favorite tropes always, where you've got the grumpy hero coming in and the heroine is too stubborn because she knows what's going on.
Yeah, I've got this. Yeah.
Playing off those different character elements. Are those again things that just how the characters are speaking to you?
Yes. Yeah. And I tried to tell them ahead of time, you got to be a little different than that one because they're not going to want the same thing. They usually give me something. If not, I'm like, why don't you try saying it this way? And then they're like, oh, I like that. And then that's how they talk in my head.
And how much fun is it then? Talked a little bit about Matthew, but what about the other secondary characters?
Oh,
Because
a lot
of
of
course
fun.
here you've got
I have a lot of favorites that won't shut up sometimes. And it's, I put you in the last book you got to wait. Let me put one of the other guys in this one. Some of them, the readers probably know some of my favorites do show up a few times. I hear them.
You also have a bit of a famous cockatoo that has shown up in multiple books. Is it different when the favorite character is a bird as opposed to
so much fun? So much. Just Lulabelle here in the Army Ranger books. Oh my gosh, she is one of my favorite characters. So it's like when I was doing HC Heroes, it's like I got to get another animal because they're so much fun, and that's where the cockatoo came in. But yeah, I got to be careful. If I put him in, like, he'll take over.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're always a sucker for a good animal
Yes.
that starts making the appearances, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The other thing with your books, I mean, and I'm curious as to how do you find the right balance of things? Because you say that how you write essentially through the different H's, right?
Yes.
You have the heat, you've got those hot scenes,
Yeah.
you've got the humor that comes into play, you have all the heart and the storyline that comes in.
Yeah.
Again, how do you find that right balance so it's you can tell that it's truly a Donna Michaels book when it comes out?
I don't know. It's just how I hear them in my head. And if I'm not getting it from them, I put in, or I slow it down, or I have to stop. Wait a minute. We got to put something else in here. You got to get more vulnerable. What do you say to this? And what do you want to show them? And it just seems to just come out of them or me. Yeah.
And you also describe your books as okay, and I have practiced saying this
Okay.
the imaginative
Yes.
fiction.
It's like, yeah,
What
romance
is
and
that?
imagination. Yeah. Romance and imagination combined is romaginative. Yeah.
So, what element? So, okay, romance and imagination. What do you mean by that? Because that is not a term and combination that you come across a lot. It might be
Right.
romance and suspense or
Yeah.
but romance
Yeah.
and
Well, I like to, I just think my stuff's slightly different. So my imagination knows no bounds, but I definitely like romance in my books. Even in the mystery ones I'm going to be doing, there's romance in it. I have to have that. So it's just romance in my imagination, and that's what I spit out.
tell me about the mysteries because this is a brand new series, a brand new
Yeah.
genre, really, for you,
Yeah.
but it's still set in
In
Harlan
Harlan
County.
County. Yeah, I have my readers just letting, and I thought, why put it elsewhere? I think I'll just, as I was thinking, where should I set this? And it's Harlan County. So yeah, then and so that's why I set it up a little bit in Bennett, introduced some of the protagonists and the setting where they're going to be in this building, which is what Bennett is about, the building. And I can't wait to dig into them more. That'll be a slow burn. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Josh. It's gonna be a slow burn. Yeah.
And what is or is your process different from that? Because I always think it's really interesting when authors are able to do that, and I guess switch in genre.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, it's still a slow burn. There's still a romance. I love that. That's what I love to read are
Yeah.
romances. But those types of books are very different sometimes.
Yeah. Other than the heat, the rest of it's gonna feel mostly the same. There's going to be more interaction because there's sisters involved, and it's just going to be not as hot.
And so with these, are they, because your other books, even though they're part of series,
Yeah.
readers can also still go through them as a standalone and kind of interchange what order they might read them.
Absolutely. All
But
my
on the
books, all my
mysteries,
series.
is that going to be the same thing, or are the protagonists going to continue on through the subsequent books?
They're going to be in all, yeah, they'll be in all the books, just like the sister. She'll end up having a romance somewhere in there, but it's not going to be immediate. It might not hit all of them. It's just something that happens in the background, probably throughout the series, that type of stuff. And there'll be series regulars that'll pop in, but not necessarily the ones that everybody met in HC Heroes. They might be some new ones showing up now in the mysteries.
Mm-hmm. And do you figure that's going to be a complete shift for you? Or are you going to still continue to work in both types of genres? Because
Both.
it sounds like you've got a number 16 coming out.
Oh yeah. And yeah, and I'm sure they will be walking into some of these scenes even from the original Harlan County. This is set in Harlan County, so all of these characters and even Lex the bird, yeah, he can show up in these. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you, with your husband being in the Guard, and now he's retired, right?
Yes. Yeah, he did go full time, and then he just retired out of that full time. Yeah.
Do you find that you still need to do additional research?
Yeah.
When you're working on these types of books,
Yes.
and
Yes.
is he your helpful source on that research, or are
he
you
helps,
going?
but yeah, I still have others that, yeah, I will ask depending on what what the suspense is and, what their background is. Yeah. Yeah.
And how challenging is that part of it to balance the research and determine
Yeah.
how far you need to go in research
Yeah,
versus.
that takes up a lot of time. You're right. Yeah, it does. It does take up a lot of time, but you got to get it right. And I want to get it right. So you have to put that in there. Yeah. Yeah.
And is it the same challenge when you're writing more of the cowboys versus the military?
Lucky there because my editor knows a lot about horses. So when there's anything to do with horses, yeah, I'll ask her and we make sure I get that correct. But yeah, she knows everything about horses. So that helps. And also anything that maybe be done on a ranch. I got lucky. Or maybe not. Maybe, this is stopping me from contacting some cowboys.
Hey, good point. Yeah,
I might have to go to Dude Ranch for research.
exactly. Yes. What is it, do you think about those two different types of settings that is appealing so much to readers? Is it the alpha hero element, or that it's still far removed from what a lot of us have, or?
Think so. They're strong, but yet they can be vulnerable. And I don't know that you get that in real life sometimes. I would hope so, but I just try to keep it real, but obviously it's fiction. So there's going to be some things that I have poetic license and this is what I would like to happen. This is what would work for me. This is what I think the readers would like. So I take it.
And how have you seen your writing evolve with this many different series and books?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of edits. Although I'll tell you, the comma is not my friend. And I always apologize to my editor. I can never seem to get it right. It's either too much, not enough. I thought I was learning it good, and I am, but I don't think I'll never master that comma. I don't know. I think I was better at it when I first started.
Again, that is the benefit of having a good editor, right?
Yes. Bless her.
That way you don't get into the whole debate of the Oxford comma and.
Yeah, no, it's not so much that as I think I do one or the other. And it's like I just have to just forget about it. I'll just let it come out as I'm typing, and then I let her fix where it needs to be fixed. I think it needs a pause here, so I'll put it in there. And then sometimes I'm right.
And again, that's the joy, I think, where remember going through some things like, okay, yes, this would probably be according to all the various literary true writing rules.
Yeah.
But here's from the actual books I'm reading.
Yeah.
And here's where the storyline. And if there needs to be a pause because of the action,
Yes,
the plot, then let's put a pause in,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you ever find yourself going back and visiting your earlier books?
Once in a while, not often. If I need again to get caught up on a character, like where they would be now, I might go in there. But other than that, no.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that you need to have certain tricks to get yourself into the right, I guess, writing state of mind? Or is it when it's time to sit down and write?
Oh no. Oh no. Busy here. Actually, my parents are older. They live with me. So they're starting to need more and more of my help. Yeah. When I find the time to write, I'll sit down to write. And sometimes it's crickets. That wall got too tight. I think I need to knock some of that wall down. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard getting when I don't know if it's like you put the pressure on yourself because, oh, I only have this amount of time to write and I got to get these words written. And then nothing happens. But thankfully, it's not too often. Then I'll just go to do some graphics, or I like to make gnomes. I'll do some gnomes. I'll do crafts. Yeah. And then that usually opens the floodgates.
Do you find the opposite then is also challenging, that you find yourself that you get into the groove and man, everything's just flowing, but then you get called away?
Oh, yes, that happens. It's just like when you're reading and somebody bothers you when you're reading. Yeah, it feels the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back and reread what you were writing to know this is where I was at.
Yes. Yep. And it doesn't always start to flow, but I do learn, what is it? By Chuck, button, chair, hand on keyboard, by Chuck, and just start writing, even if it's the or BENNETT. Sometime it'll start them again. It's, yes, you have free reign, start talking.
I would wonder because, okay, if that happens when I'm reading,
Yeah.
then for the most part, I have to wait, as hard as it is, until I go back and pick up
Yes.
the book again
Yes.
because I don't know what's going to happen. But these are your characters in your story. Do you find, hey, mom calls you and, okay, I have to step away. I need to go over and help with whatever or do this other task.
Yeah.
And it's still whirling in your brain. And is what you come up with, does that stay there? Or is that
Sometimes,
like an alternate choose your own adventure for when you go
yeah,
back?
sometimes I get there and I'm like, oh, what did I want to write? And then I might end up writing something else. And then later on, I'll think of it. And a lot of times what I did end up writing works. So I just trust the process.
Okay. Donna, I want to flip over to what we call our fresh fiction facts. Okay,
Okay.
these are a couple of questions off the top of your head, a variety of subjects, because we want to keep you on your toes.
Okay. Oh boy. Retro.
Okay, what was your favorite children's TV show?
Scooby-Doo.
Classic or after Scrappy got?
Oh, no Scrappy. No, we don't do Scrappy-Doo now. Scooby-Doo classic.
Gotcha. As a reader, what puts you off a book or a story?
Oh, people don't hate me. Don't hate me. I'm so afraid to say it. I'm not a huge fan, although I have written in first person, but I'm not a huge fan of first person of a lot of genres. But again, there are some that and especially if it's done, I forget I'm even reading first person and I enjoy that. But yeah, a lot of times I'll look at the book or I'll look inside the book. And if it's first person, I'll see if I can find something similar that was written in third. I do prefer third because I like to hear a lot of voices. I like more than one. And I do know that you can shift it. You can do that, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
I know that your mom turned you on to reading,
Yes.
but your dad gave you a love of movies.
Love watching TV.
So, what bad movie do you legitimately enjoy? The one that you will watch over and over again, no matter how badly somebody else might think it is.
Oh, that somebody might think it's bad. Then I can't say the Lord of the Rings because that's not bad. And I just love love it all. The Riddick ones, Chronicles of Riddick. I love the Riddick ones. People maybe don't like that, maybe. Love that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Pitch Black. This fall.
Black. Oh my gosh. Pitch Black. Chronicles of Riddick. The more I watched that was brilliantly done between the cinematography, the plot, the acting, the music. That was well done. I gotta watch that again. Speaking of that,
I know. I was just saying
the Chronicles of Riddick. I really enjoy how that was written, and I love the movie Frequency.
Oh, the Dennis Quaid one.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Love that. There was so many different plots going on in that, and they were all great. And the time shift, love that. Love that. One of my all-time favorite movies. And then there's the whole 9 yards, the whole 10 yards. Love those two with Bruce Willis. Love Bruce Willis. Those movies with Matthew were so funny and well done. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know if I can classify any of those as really bad.
No, so I'm like, I don't know if there's a bad one. Although not in my head, these weren't, but maybe there are some. And if I heard it, I would say, oh yeah, I like that one.
What is your most dog-eared book? The one that you go back to over and over again, either for pleasure or for research?
Definitely Jill Shalvis. She's my idol. Love her books. And Lucky in Love, her Lucky Harbor series. I think it was the third one. Ty, that was her first military dude in that. Love it. But I love that. I love all her stuff. All her stuff. If you read the second book in her, is it the Wilder Brothers? I don't even remember the title. Instant Gratification, Instant Temptation, those. The second book, the very first chapter was brilliant. It was so funny. It's, oh, if I could just aspire to write like that someday. Such a good start. I encourage you guys, get that. Even if you just, how you can read it for free, maybe you could read that for free on Amazon, that first chapter. Oh, it's funny. It's just, I love it. I love that.
What is your gas station go-to snack on a road trip?
Depends on if I'm behaving or not.
Oh. Let's go for
Let's
the
say
non-behaving.
I'm not behaving. Probably like a Snickers bar, something with chocolate, a Snickers bar, chocolate and peanuts, chocolate almonds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Always a good choice. Yes.
Yeah.
What
Chocoholic.
luxury item can you not live without?
Probably the television or the laptop because I can read and watch shows on the laptop. So laptop.
Would you rather go back in time and meet your ancestors or forward and meet your descendants?
Probably back in time. Back in time. I don't know why I always have this pull for World War II things. And
Mm.
especially when we're anywhere, like when I go to signings, there's a museum. Love the World War II museum down in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. We were only there one day. I need to go back because I didn't get to read everything I wanted to read. And I had to visit the airplane museum that they also have attached to it. And I often wonder if I ever got regressed, was I like a pilot in World War II? I don't know why I'm pulled to that. I'm pulled to that. Yeah, I think I'd like to go back.
And it's one to go back to also because it's still relatively new.
Yeah.
And so they just keep adding
Yes.
things to it.
That's
So
it. Oh, I hope we have a signing there. I want to go back. Build in an extra day or two so I can see that again. Yeah.
okay, what's your oddly specific pet peeve that no one else seems bothered by?
A pet peeve. I don't know if I have one. Let me think. Name something.
Okay, this is almost the opposite that everybody is annoyed by the word moist,
Oh,
something like that.
yeah,
Or
I got you. Yeah, that's not great, but I can see using it in a novel for non-sexual stuff. But yeah, no, I don't like that. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
okay. How about you have 50,000, but you have to spend it all in a single store? Where are you shopping and what are you buying?
Okay, probably a clothes store for my grandkids. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm one click on a lot of stuff. You do not want to see what I got them for Easter. I had to keep all of the bags and all of that stuff because I have four of them in their playroom that I have at the house here while I was writing. I didn't have time to put that all together. So I was putting that all together last minute. But yeah, it took up the whole floor. Yeah. But yeah, I would spend it on them and I probably close because they outgrow them so fast. So I try to help mom and dad out. Yeah.
Okay, other than books, what is something that you own a ridiculous amount of?
Gnomes.
Gnomes. Okay, because you
Gnomes.
were talking about how you
Yeah.
craft on those. So are those gnomes that you're making, gnomes that you're buying?
Got my book on it.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I try to give them away at conferences and all. It's so cute. But yeah, I also have other kind. I buy them, I make them. I love gnomes. Yeah. Cute ones. And
Yes.
my daughter and I are going to write a series, a cozy mystery series, paranormal one, and there will be gnomes in that. Gnomes in the series, and we'll be able to make, I'll be able to make gnomes that will, oh, I can't wait. But they have to shut up right now because I got to concentrate on just the regular, normal cozy mystery.
Yeah, you can't have a bunch of gnomes start popping
No,
up.
no
Yeah.
gnomes in Harlan County. There might be one on a shelf here and there.
Yeah.
And there are a few crafters in Harlan County, so they can make them.
You can have decorative gnomes in
Yes,
those. You
yes.
can't, they just can't be running around on their
No,
own
no.
yet.
And yeah, that's for the other series. That's in October. That'll be out in October.
Okay, so we talked about a couple of the different things that you're working on. We've got, so when can we expect those next books? Even though we just put out Bennett, when is the cozy coming out? When is the next the county?
Glue Diligence is the name of the cozy, the first one. And that's coming out at the end of June.
Right around the corner, people.
Probably not. I
Consider
obviously don't have the book. So, they can find it on my website. But yeah, I just love it. Kim Killian did that cover for me, and it's just so cute.
and you mentioned the website. Where is the best place for our readers and listeners to keep up with you and
Yeah,
find out
definitely
all the
there.
details?
Yeah, DonnaMichaelsAuthor.com because Donna Michaels was taken. So DonnaMichaelsAuthor.com. All my goodies are there, yes, and the pre-orders and all that. Yep.
Fantastic. Donna, it was so good to see you tonight. Stick around for the questions during our happy hour from some other
Absolutely.
readers, but it was so good to see you. And
You too.
readers, the latest book just came out, Bennett. It's available from all the different
Yes.
retailers
Yes, it
as of
is.
right now.
Yes.
Be sure and get it to find out the latest goings on of Bennett and Laurel. All
Absolutely. Thank you.
right, thanks, Donna.